Hey guys! So this is Anna from Anna's Magical Moments, and I'm just gonna go over my Skyliner gondola story. And of course I'm wearing the Get Help shirt, which was a general theme of that night, but not in the way that you think. So we were going to go to Epcot because I wanted to catch the new firework. What is it called? Epcot Forever is the new firework display. And so we were in Hollywood Studios and we were going to go back to our hotel at Pop Century and we were going to go to the Epcot. Go to the Epcot, but yeah, go to Epcot. So we were like, we couldn't take the gondolas in the morning because I guess they were still doing some testing on them in the morning or weren't running them with people on them in the morning to Pop Century. And so we were like, okay, well, so we had to take the bus. And we took the bus and we got to Hollywood Studio, did our thing, but all of us were like, we definitely need to take the gondolas back to our hotel room. So we did, and we got on, and we were actually with a family that had been there all week and had ridden the gondolas like at least 8, I think they said about 8 times already. And I joked, I was like, what happens if like there's an emergency and you're stuck in the air and you get heat stroke? And she was like, oh, there's an emergency kit underneath that seat. And there was like water, they said ice packs, and come to find out later, little pee cups and a whole huge first aid kit. So we were like, oh, okay. And she was like, yeah, she's like, when it's running, it's awesome, you know? And, you know, we're like, okay, cool. So that kind of made us less nervous about the trip. My fiance wasn't really keen. He's like, I don't really like to be dangled in the air, you know? But I was all for it. And it was amazing. It was so, like, it was just a nice view, just being over, like, just riding over the lakes and just seeing Disney property from the sky. So definitely, like, that's the good selling point of the Skyliners. And I have to say, they're a lot faster than the buses. You know, and so it was pretty good. Well, we get to the main hub, which is based out of the Caribbean Beach Center. So basically, if like you're staying at Pop Century, you'll go from like Hollywood Studios to the Caribbean Beach hub and then get from Caribbean Beach to the Pop Century station. And also Art of Animation. Basically, there's one hub for both, because, you know, Art of Animation's right there, and then you make a left to go to Pop Century. So in the dark, I guess I had pulled out my cell phone and I put it on the seat, and then we left. And because I was like, oh, where the heck is my cell phone? After we got off and had started walking our hotel room, my fiance was like, where did you put it? I'm like, I left it on the gondola. I'm like, because I had a side pocket and that's where my phone's been all day. And I'm like, I left it at the gondola. And so he hauls butt back to the gondola. They had just left, the gondola had just left the station, but he remembered which one we were in. He remembered it had frozen. So he saw, they took down the number because they could still see it. And so we were waiting and waiting, and the cast member was super nice, and we were just watching. And so they eventually found my cell phone, and we decided that we would go back to the hotel room because this was like a weekend of losing things, because Chris had left his debit card at Grand Floridian because we went to the soft opening of Enchanted Rose, and he hadn't used his card all day. So he hadn't had a need to pull it out until he was like, oh, well, I want to go to Epcot and spend money. And so that's when he found out that he didn't have it. And so he was like, let's go to the hotel room and then go back. And so by the time, I think being that delayed saved us from being stuck on the Skyliner for 3 hours. And because, like, we would have been on that. Like, we would have been stuck in the air for 3 hours. And I mean, I like adventures, but I have to say, anybody that got stuck on there is definitely, and actually we actually did meet somebody, like, It's like you ever like ride the elevator and you know that a person wants to talk. And so this dad was like, we were stuck on the gondolas for 3 hours. Oh, we were like, oh, because I mean, of course we had heard. Like, and if you haven't heard, the Skyliner broke down. The Epcot Skyliner broke down, and there were people trapped in the air and apparently had crashed at the station. Supposedly there was no injuries. I think there was like one person that had to go to the hospital, but the injuries were very minor. But other than that, I mean, I guess they had evacuated like 1 or 2 carts. They had the fire trucks evacuate 1 or 2 of the cars in the air, but the rest they were able to restore and back the gondolas back at one of the stations, or forward, I'm not really sure which direction, and get everybody off that way. And there were some like mixed stories about like compensation. Like the family that we talked to got nothing. Like they were like, well, I hope Disney compensates us in some ways. And you know, and one of the other travel agents said that her client didn't get anything either. But then I heard other people got like 2-day park hoppers, or I'm not sure hoppers, 2-day park tickets, and like $100 gift card, and like bottles of water. We're waiting for them when they debarked, but like that guy was just like, we got nothing. So I don't know, like maybe it was just they weren't in the right place, or I don't know, you figure like they're getting off from a 3-hour ordeal that Disney would have been right there. Unless just slow, you know, sometimes people are slow to react and maybe they didn't think about or have all that stuff ready. Would I ride it again? Yes. Now, I just want to go over a few things that I noticed. When I was stuck at the station, at the Pop Century station, I did some observing, and I think this is why I believe that the system is not working. And actually, Chris actually talked to one of the techs. I guess he happened to talk to a tech at the Epcot station about the system, and he was like, the system is not meant to be stopped. It's supposed to keep continuously flowing, and all the stop motion that the Disney employees or the cast members were stopping, like, is straining the system. And so that, you know, that makes sense. You know, the system is just used to just like a ski resort. You know, it continuously like just keeps going and going and going, and so there's a smooth motion. The joints and everything is not being strained. And if that's true, then yeah, because I watched people getting into the Skyliner when I was stuck at the Pop Century Resort, and there are people that are smart about it and they just know, get in right away, don't stop. But then there's some other people that are like, blah, you know, and then Disney employees like, no, go, keep going. And then there's people who have strollers or you know, and I heard that the handicap system is slightly different. But I mean, it's like, there was one child that ran straight off of it at the last possible minute. It could have been dangerous. And then her mom ran off, you know, and it was at the last possible minute, and there's like a ledge, and then, you know, where the Skyliner, and she just like was so close to that ledge, and because she panicked, she got scared, the little girl got scared, and so she just ran off, and mom ran off with her. And I can see like if like that motion of stopping it immediately like that could hurt the system. I don't know, I'm not an engineer. I figure there's probably a lot of fail safes and safety things built into the Skyliner. So I don't know, like, would I ride them again? Yes. It was actually probably my favorite way of getting, well, in my case, from the park to the hotel. It was quiet, it was peaceful. I guess it depends on also if you get stuck with, you know, as long as you're not stuck with like the crazy people. It was really quiet, and it was so nice just to look and look around the world from the sky. So I definitely liked it. And it's, you know, it's sad that this had happened. I mean, barely 6 days in, and you know, I mean, I hope that Disney can work out the flaws. I think, you know, they've been testing them all summer, but I think the fatal flaw in the testing is that they didn't have the people. You know, like doing the cast member training things is fine, but, you know, like the masses is different. Like people and like they get, I call it Disney brain. They just, or theme park brain really. It's not really just Disney that this happens, where people just lose all common sense where they're like, you know, it's they're on vacation and they're like, oh, you know, they're looking at everything and not focused on what they need to do, or, you know, and maybe some people also don't really know that they need to get on and get in so the system doesn't have to get slowed down, because it's not that slow. Like it's not, I mean, it's like compared to like like getting on like Haunted Mansion, you know, ride, or like Finding Nemo, that like maybe that speed, maybe just a tad bit faster, but not that fast. But I don't know. I really do hope that the kinks will get worked out, and that it will definitely be back and running, because I really enjoyed it. I really did like it. And so yeah, so if you got stuck, I hope you guys are okay. I mean, it sounded like everybody's fine, but yeah, that's not a good situation to be in. And I'm but I'm so glad that we missed it. Because as much as I like being over the air, being stuck over the air for 3 hours would have driven me crazy. And you know, it's not a good situation to be in. So until next time, guys, I guess hope you have a magical week. And let me know, are you considering going on the gondolas if they open again, or are you absolutely no? But let me know. And like always, I hope you guys subscribe to my channel and like the video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.